Welcome to the Mike Litton Experience Podcast. Mike has over 31 years experience in real estate, finance, and investing. He's passionate about being a father, a teacher, a realtor, an investor, and a leader. Everyone has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. And now, introducing the host of the Mike Litton Experience, Mike Litton.
So what can you expect from the Mike Litton Experience? You can expect stories that will inspire, motivate, advice that will sharpen your focus, and expert information on real estate, finance, and market conditions.
Kind of core value fit. We established core values, first of all, who we wanted to be, how we wanted to do it. We rehired, re-onboarded the ones that we thought fit that mold. Then we retrained our leaders on how to interview, retain, and terminate around those core values.
Gotcha.
And that was a 3-year process.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not an overnight switch, nor is it an overnight build. And so, I mean, we're still working on it. We embrace a term called Kaizen. That's a 1% improvement, small incremental improvements. And so culture is an everyday thing that you constantly have to teach and push and role model. Like you said earlier, you got to be willing to, get in and stick your hand down a drain and something out from time to time. So that was when we had really started to get a lot of leaders that were bought in and drinking the Kool-Aid, so to say, of what we were trying to preach and teach. One of the biggest wins I had was bringing in our area director, Tim Tierney. He bought into everything and was very just aligned with everything that we were trying to build. And so he and I had all we did was sit and talk about the brand and the business and how we're going to do this and how we're going to find those great people and how we're going to keep them moving forward. And look, we've faced challenges just like every other restaurant. I mean, we've lost great people. We've had to terminate some not so great people, but all of it has not translated to the guest experience because the core group of leaders that we have stayed intact, and we're constantly pushing forward with our true north being our team. So once we established that, we really felt comfortable, okay, let's do this. We partnered with a company called iFranchise as well that helped us kind of build out that initial model. And then we brought in a group called Pivotal Growth Partners, who has just honestly helped us just accelerate and check just tons of boxes that would have taken us years to hire, develop, from a site selection to real estate to, supply chain, throughput, just all the things, even just the vetting process. And then, the biggest one we had as well was bringing on Amanda Kahalahoy, who's our chief operating officer. She comes from a military background, very structured, very disciplined, also very aggressive at just executing. And she came from the tech world as well. So she was cyber tech, which has just launched this brand into the stratosphere from a digital standpoint. I don't know if you know this or not, but restaurant operators, we're not tech folk. We're pen and paper people. We like, you can almost joke around and say abacus. We like things simple, executable, and not distracting. And we have trust issues with tech because once it goes down, we're at the mercy of, the internet, so to say. So she has checked all those boxes for us, and we have so much trust and belief in her. And we've just built honestly, just a hell of a team. And we've all got each other's backs. That's the best thing because we're all so passionate about this wonderful brand.
Yeah. And you should be. You've earned it. And when you go into a Vicious Biscuit, and I'm going to tell you this from a consumer standpoint, when you go into a Vicious Biscuit, one of the things that you absolutely know once you interact with people and you have a chance to eat this amazing food and have the experience that you have of being in that restaurant, that there was a ton of thought that went into this. There's been a ton of what you're talking about, building the culture, right? And figuring out what your core beliefs are. You can feel that. You can literally feel that at your location in Wilmington. It's the only one I've been to, but at your location in Wilmington, you can absolutely feel it. And one of the things that I wanted to also share with you is, and I don't know how much of this you've experienced in your life, but one of the things that I found is a lot of employees tend to look at leadership with a little bit of a jaundiced eye. And it's not so much a jealousy thing as it is, they really need leadership to show them through their actions how they became a leader. In other words, why they are where they are. You with me?
Right. Yeah,
And
that is crucial.
yeah, and that comes from how you handle yourself around them, and ultimately, like we talked about, the example that you set. And when you come in like you do, and I know we talked about this before, but when you come in like you do, and these are your people telling me this, just so you know, when you come in like you do and you work elbow to elbow with them, and you're asking them questions, how do we improve? What can we do better? What can the company do to help support you? Oh my goodness, that is you living your core beliefs. You're literally walking, talking culture, right? And I can't tell you, Mike, how important that is, how unbelievably vital it is to building a world-class organization like you've built. And I think the coolest thing is you're now franchising, and so you have an opportunity to replicate this on a larger scale. In other words, you can take this, to whatever level you want to take it to. You really don't have any limits here.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's part of what I love. And one of the things I wanted to mention to you, and I know I haven't mentioned this before, but I meant to. When I walked into to Vicious Biscuit in Wilmington, on the left side, as you're walking up to the counter, as you're waiting, on the left side, there's this merchandise, right?
Right.
And they're t-shirts. And I have to share with you that they gave me one, and it says Body by
Yeah, that's
Biscuit.
awesome.
Okay.
Love it. Yeah.
And it's red, right, with black lettering. And there isn't a person on the planet that has seen my body that doesn't believe what that t-shirt says, right? You with
The
me?
shirts are
Okay.
earned.
Yeah. I mean, I make dad bods look good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, right. So the other one that's in there though that I thought was really cool, and by the way, I'm buying one when I go back, is Son of a Biscuit. I love that. I
Yeah.
absolutely love that. So, but what that does is it starts you off, if you've never been there before, it starts you off going, wait a minute, what is it about this place, right? I mean, you immediately have this feeling as a consumer that there's something going on here. And I mentioned to you before we hit record that I'm absolutely, completely, and utterly addicted to Eggs Benedict.
Yeah.
And you guys have this dish called the Vicious Benny that I am completely, totally head over heels addicted to, like find a vein kind of addicted. You know what I'm saying?
Great
And
item. Yes,
so,
sir.
I mean, I was there 6 days in Wilmington, and 4 out of the 6 days I ate at Vicious Biscuit, and I had my Vicious Benny. So, right. So I just feel like it's important that people understand what it's like from a consumer standpoint. You
Mhm.
guys completely won me over. And one of the things that I told them was, I said, you got to get Mike, because they started telling me about Mike Ball, right? And I'm like, you got to get Mike on my podcast. We got to interview Mike so we can talk about how unreal this place is.
Right.
You got me because of the name. I love the name, but you completely won me over in my first visit. The food, the atmosphere, the people, everything. And I'm talking even from the people that checked me in, that took my money and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they were just cool, they were friendly, they were helpful. I mean, I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was doing. I'd never been there before, right? And they're like, hey, the coffee's around the corner, and I mean, they're just super helpful. And everybody, no matter who it was that I had interaction with, they absolutely mirror the type of culture that you project. And it's really cool. And it's you don't get that everywhere. And that's the point I'm getting at, is this is really a unique experience and a unique organization. And I really feel like that you should be very, very, and I know you are, but I feel like you should be very, very proud of it. This has been a real labor for you. And Mike, what you guys have built
Yeah.
is just cool. Okay. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just cool.
I
So,
love that.
so talk to us a little bit about, if a franchisee is interested in potentially getting into business with you, what do they
Mhm.
need to do?
Yeah, so it's easy. First step is you go to our website, and under the website, there's a portal where you fill out a brief information section, and then one of our representatives, usually Cameron Cummins from Pivotal Growth Partners, gets in touch within 24 hours. And that's when the Q&A kind of over the phone, and there's certain criteria you have to hit. It's a standard franchise fee you pay, the cost of the build out. They go over all of that in depth. We have a phenomenal calendar and trackpad that really we use Fran Connect, and just a team of teams that really takes everybody through that process.
Yeah.
All of the back and forth phone calls and interviews and Q&A, they lead up to an experience called a discovery day that we do here in our training market here in Charleston, where they come in, they see our Mount Pleasant location where it all started, kind of our baby biscuit, as I say, because it's very small and compact. And then next morning they come over to our training store in Somerville, which is a much larger location. It's where we train all of our team and grand opening trainers and everything like that. We give them a variety of the food, talk through the brand, answer any questions they have, and then we go over to a hotel conference room and we talk about the brand and our setup and our tech stack and our support and our grand opening training, and we basically just pull back the curtain for them and show them all the great things and the support. And that's the beautiful thing, is that the feedback we've gotten from so many discovery days is that they're like, man, I never would have pegged you guys for a company that only has 7 corporate locations and just started franchising. I would have thought y'all had, 100, 200, 500 locations, and y'all been doing this forever. It's like, we're not even through our 6th year yet.
Right.
And 2 of those years was COVID.
Yeah. That's
So
what's so remarkable about this. And that's part of what I wanted to acknowledge you guys for is, you're a brand new company, but it doesn't feel brand new. It feels like it's been there forever. You guys have built it the right way, dude. You really did. And I want to acknowledge you for it. And I want you to tell the team how unbelievably enamored I am with you guys, So if a franchisee comes in for discovery days and all that and does all that, do you do you have a certain training regiment that I'm sure you do,
We do.
where you teach them, right? So
yeah, based on the calendar lineup to building towards their grand opening, and it's hinged upon them getting their CEO on a certain day. We line the calendar up. We have the operator, typically the franchisee owner, their operator. You have to have a great operator that fits our core values and our culture.
right.
You got to be about the people. We don't need pencil pushers or booth managers that are just going to sit. We need people who are going to be, like you said, side by side, loving on our team, teaching them the Vicious credo and why we do the things we do. The food is easy to teach. The whys and the doing the extra for everybody, and the servant leadership. That's where you start to get into nuance and filtering through great operators and not great operators. But if you have that, they come down and then they bring their management team, and it's a 4-week training in our training market. Variety of ways we can break that up based on it's a big ask to have people displaced for 4 weeks straight. So we offer some flexibility, and we figure it out on a case by case basis around their needs. But once they're trained up, we get them back to their home location so they can get ready to get the store organized. And then our director of training goes up about a week before the soft opening and helps get their first truck put up, get their order guides all laid out, answer any questions they have about store setup, office supplies, all of that. And then the rest of our grand opening trainers go up about 4 days roughly before we do the soft opening to train their staff.
Right.
And so they're hiring, we all come up, and when we train their staff through classroom sessions, we train their managers to be trainers as well while they're down here. So it's a group effort, training all these people to get excited. It's very rah cheerleader, let's go, let's get vicious, all these fun things. And then we do a soft opening, and we're there for another full week to help support that soft opening, building towards their first huge weekend.
And then once that happens, I'm asking, but once that happens, there's ongoing support, right? You have people that come in and check in or are available and that kind of thing,
Yes.
like they, I can imagine situations where they have a question or they have, something that happens and they need to get somebody on the line so they can say, hey, what do we do about this? Right. That kind of thing.
You're looking at that person.
Yeah.
That's myself and Amanda Holloway, our COOs. Right now, I'm kind of acting as the FBL, the franchise business liaison for Ohio. That's our first franchise. It just opened up in Akron. Just phenomenal opening, amazing team up there. I mean, I could not be more blown away by the team members they hired. that really mirrored everything we were looking for. And so, I just got off the phone with one of their team earlier to try and help support their third party delivery launch. And so we are always accessible to these guys because their success is ours. I mean,
Yeah.
we're only as good as they are as they operate.
Mhm.
And so they are a top priority for us. Our corporate locations that we'll continue to build out. I mean, yes, they need to be profitable, but we're building them out to be able to support franchise development.
Right.
That's the name of the game, is supporting them so that we can have that same amazing experience that you experienced in Wilmington, in Akron, in Utah, in Baton Rouge,
Mhm.
wherever we end up. I mean, we had a franchise request from New Zealand, which was
That's cool.
a little funny but very flattering too. I was like, I don't think we're quite ready yet for New Zealand, but yeah, we look. It's funny. We really preach work-life balance and quality of life, and I think there are certain aspects of the industry that have really kind of taken that too far and have
Yeah.
overcorrected, and it's hurt, and it's been a little challenging. And so we're trying to find that sweet spot in the middle. But the beautiful thing about our concept is it's built for quality of life.
Yeah.
We close at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Our team members are out of there between 3:30 and 4 o'clock every day. You get to see the sunrise. You can still go get an oil change. You're home in time for dinner. And so, our standard hours are, we don't want our leaders working more than 45 hours a week.
Yeah.
If they're pulling 50 plus a week sustainably,
Mhm.
we lean in and say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
What are you doing with your time? Where do you need help? We don't want them working that many hours over and over. Look, every now and then an outlier week happens, big catering order. You do what you got to do to protect your brand and build your business, but that's not a lifestyle we want. And so
Right.
if you're running your business right, you get all the things: quality of life, great work-life balance, entertaining atmosphere at work. You get to pour into people, make a difference. You get to add value. Um, it's just a fun gig, man. It really is, and we love it.
Yeah.
That's what's been our driving force, is that this has been the most challenging and yet rewarding experience all of us has ever had, because we've never done this before.
Yeah.
We've been franchisees, but we've never been the franchisor. And that's the beautiful thing about what we're doing, is we're building this out in the franchisee lens, because
Mhm.
that's what we were. And that's attractive to our franchisees, our prospects, I should say, because they're like, oh, they get it. We're not trying to, have hidden fees and all these things. It's like, look, man, we're an open book. We just want to build this amazing brand and go nationwide, because everybody wants some of this. We kind of hit lightning in a bottle with the fact that George picked Charleston to
Mhm.
start it, because Charleston has turned into kind of the food mecca of the country,
Yeah.
and everybody loves coming to the beach. And so we got national exposure just kind of organically, without having to really work for it at the beginning. And now that we're really intentionally growing through site selection and very strategic partnerships with franchisees, now we're in the marketing game, and now we're in the brand awareness game, and we're just continuing to elevate everything we do. Every time we do an opening, we come back just like military style. We do an after action review, a
Yeah.
debrief. Say, okay, we strip
Important.
it down, build it. What could we have done better? Every
Yeah.
single.
Yeah, and it's important, Mike. You want to do that kind of stuff because you want to continue to get better, and that to me is the perfect example of your standards, right? You don't create what you guys have created without having higher standards, and the fact that you come at this as a franchisor from a franchisee standpoint is a big deal, and I'll tell you why. I've owned a franchise before. And the people that were the franchisors of mine didn't come at this that way. They did eventually bring leadership in that had been a franchisee, right? And at that point, it changed the culture, it changed the dynamic, it changed everything. And it helped all of us out in the field that were franchisees immediately with the leadership and the culture and the reset, if you will, or the pivoting that they did. And so it's really, really important. And I can tell you that from my standpoint in terms of experiencing it, right? So
Right.
that's really cool, man. That's a big part of this. And I am a huge Vicious Biscuit fan. I will always be a huge Vicious Biscuit fan, but now I'm a Michael Ball fan. And
Well,
right, and
I
I'm
appreciate it.
super proud of you, and I'm super excited for to see how you guys grow and to see your success in the future. And I cannot thank you enough for being our guest on the Mike Litton Experience.
Hey, pleasure is all mine, Mike. I love this kind of stuff. I love networking and just offering anything we can do to help others. It's just very rewarding. Everything that we talk about, we didn't create it. It was just passed on to us. Like you
Yeah,
pay towards the best thing. Anything we teach it's just nuggets that were taught to us that we have a responsibility to share with others. So thank you for what you do, and just stay after it, keep getting after it. And, best of luck to you, and just keep growing. I
Well,
love
thanks
it.
for being here, buddy. I appreciate you. And I tell you, I am truly proud of you. And a big part of why I'm proud of you is you have taken culture, you built a culture, right, from the ground up. And it takes a lot of commitment to do that. It's not something that happens overnight. And culture is something that's going to propel and continue to sustain you for a very, very long time. It will be the thing that continues to help you retain, and it'll be the thing that will help you to continue to build a world-class organization. And I'm over the moon about you guys, man.
Thank you so much. We appreciate the loyalty and the fascination with our brand. It's infectious, man. We're trying to spread it and share it with everybody. So let me know next time you're going up to Wilmington. I'd love to do a site visit and go up there and meet you.
That'd be awesome. I'm looking forward to it, bud.
Yes, sir.
Thanks again.
We hope you enjoyed another episode of the Mike Litton Experience. If you did, do us a favor, smash that subscribe button, tell your friends, family, and coworkers about our program, and wherever you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating. It helps us to connect with quality people just like you.
And that's a wrap. Another episode of the Mike Litton Experience in the books. Reach out to Mike on Instagram at Litton Realty. Want to meet with Mike? Check out calendly.com/Rio760.